Hey, what's up you guys, it's Ruthie and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to go into chapter 5 of Surviving Hitler, A Boy in the Nazi Death Camps by Andrea Warren. So let's get right into this video. This video is going to contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, I suggest you click off the video now. You have been warned. The right to die. We staggered through the blows from the guards. Jack remembered. They barked at us to line up in rows of 5. We stood silent with our heads down. The officer in charge told us we were now prisoners of Hitler's SS, Special Forces, and we were in Belkhammer concentration camp across the border in Germany. We had no rights. The only right we had was to die. Jack and the others were taken to a room where they were ordered to undress, then form lines. Camp prisoners who were not allowed to speak to the new prisoners roughly shaved off all their body hair to help prevent lice. Jack touched his newly shaved scalp. His hair was only 3/4 of an inch long and had a stripe through the middle, shaved right down to the skin to mark him as a concentration camp prisoner. Next, he had to stand still while his skin was coated with a chemical disinfectant to kill lice. He had to bite his lip and force himself not to cry out, so badly did the solution burn around him. Men screamed in pain. Uniforms were tossed to them, and Jack quickly put his on. It looked like that worn by every other prisoner, coarse cotton with blue and gray stripes. He had no underwear or socks, but at least the uniform had pockets. On the left front of the number was a number 16013. This meant that 16,012 prisoners had been processed into this camp before Jack. From now on, no matter which camp he was in, the number 16013 would be his identification. As far as the Nazis were concerned, he no longer had a name. I learned from other prisoners that in some camps they tattooed your number on your arm, Jack said. However they did it, reducing your identity to a number was part of their way of dehumanizing you. Once he had the uniform, Jack was issued shoes with wooden bottoms and ankle-high canvas tops. When he tried to take a step, he almost twisted his ankle because he could not bend his foot. How clever of his captors. Escape would be very difficult in these. Finally, the new prisoners were allowed to use the latrine. They lined up at a shed. It was night now, and there was no light in the blackness. When it was his turn, Jack found the board with holes in it placed over a pit. The flies were thick, and the stench was overwhelming. Jack said the body odor of other prisoners was also horrible. Everything in this camp stunk and was filthy. When all the processing was done, Jack was assigned to one of the hundreds of look-alike sleeping barracks. There were row upon row of these long, low wood buildings, each with an aisle through the middle and tiers of wooden bunks. Jack quickly memorized the number above the door so he would always be able to find his. Prisoners slept on bunks filled with loose straw. Each had a thin blanket but no pillow. The barracks had no insulation or heat. Since it was June, it did not yet matter, Jack said. On his bunk was a little metal can to hold food when he had a meal, but that would not be this first night. I had just gotten there when the single light bulb hanging from the ceiling was turned off and we were ordered to be quiet. I lay on my bunk in the dark trying to understand what had happened to me. I was 15 years old. My father had been in a Nazi concentration camp for 3 years, and now I was also in one. My sister was with our uncle and aunt and was okay as far as we knew. I was sure my mother and brother were all right, but it was going to be very hard for them without me, and I knew Mama would be sick with worry for me. Whatever this place was, whatever was going to happen, I vowed I would somehow stay strong and I would get back to them. That is the end of chapter 5. I will see you guys in the next video for chapter 6. Bye!